join as we go.
Okay, then. Yeah, let's get going, and then we'll see if someone joins. Okay. Otherwise, the session is recorded, as I can see, so we can then publish it and
Yes,
people can view
we
it
are
later on.
recording it and we'll publish it. Yes.
Yeah. So first of all, thanks for having me. I'm very excited to be today here at the Power Platform User Group UAE. And what I brought with me is a couple of slides and a short session about how I discovered my passion for the Power Platform and how I turned that to a profession. So a little journey from for my Power Platform journey and the impact that that had to me on my career, and also yeah, the impact of sharing knowledge. So first of all, let's start with a short agenda. So what's to expect? And I'm going to do a short introduction about myself a little bit more, and then I will continue with how I discovered my passion for the Power Platform. So one of the key projects that I had, which pushed me to the direction of the Power Platform even more than I was before. And yeah, how I turned that passion then that I discovered into a profession where I started working full time with Power Platform tools. And then also talk about the impact that sharing my knowledge has had to me during these last years, and then moving forward, some closing words. So a little bit about myself. My name is Enea Licaj. I come from Tirana, Albania, but I live in Cologne, Germany. I am 33 years old, and I work as a business consultant, and I am also a Microsoft MVP for business applications. So how did this journey start? I was working during 2016 and 2019 as a UC consultant. And for you guys who don't know what UC consultant means, is the Unified Communications Consultant. So everything that has to do with, back in the day, Skype for Business, and then later on Microsoft Teams, SharePoint Online, and so on and so forth. And what I did is I helped companies to transform from their normal tech phones to digital communication, like Skype for Business and then Teams and so on. And DECT phones means that all those phones that you got to pick up, the one that we have on the desk. And also a part of that transformation was user adoption, which meant that I had to do a lot of trainings with the customer, with the employees, to show them why this is the right decision, why this is the tool to use now, and so on and so forth. So a lot of training and showing and so on and so forth on how something works. And that was one of the first sparks that ignited the need to share the knowledge. No? So later I moved on to another role inside the same company, which was in the project management office. And I was there like a project management coordinator because I wanted to discover like new parts of the company and to see what's also interesting out there, what I can gain some knowledge. And I moved into this role from 2019 and 21. And before that, I was already working with some Power Platform tools, like a little bit of Flow was called back then, SharePoint, and I was experimenting with Power BI. Power Apps was not that much on my radar. But when I moved to this role, one of my projects to do was to start and do something for their problem that they had. And the problem was that they were managing the projects in a very complicated way. So what they were doing is that they had like multiple project managers managing multiple projects, and they had to write down the project accomplishments, milestones, and everything into single sheets, like PowerPoint sheets. And then they had to present that to the PMO manager who was overseeing everything. And that was a lot of manual work. So my role in this segment was not only to learn how projects are managed and project coordination, but also to help with the automation, because I was always like very keen to automate stuff, because I was maybe too lazy. And so just for you to explain how that worked, they were many project managers, and those projects were all managed, from each project manager. And each project manager had to then create these slides with project 1, project 2, project 3, and so on, with all those information like accomplishments, issues, next steps, etc. And then they had to bring it to the PMO manager. And the PMO manager had to put all these slides together and also enter some of his information and create like a summary slide for the stakeholders to present it every week. So that was a lot of hours from the project managers, but also from the PMO manager that will be put into this work. And yeah, every week. So it was countless hours. And yeah, then we had that weekly meeting with the stakeholders and also with the company managers and so on. And that call was like this, like one project manager stood up and then they told about their project. So how is this project going? What is happening? What's going wrong? And so on and so forth. And that was happening like every project manager had to do that. Now the company was not that big. I think, remember, we were like 250 people company. But the project manager maybe were like 10 or 15, so not that many. And that was like a 2-hour call doing like this. But the hours put for creating this was more than that. So that was the problem, that the people were investing too many hours into doing this manual work. And my PMO manager, who was my new boss, came to me and told me that, yeah, you are so good at automating stuff. Can you help me please automate this, or maybe make it as less manual input as possible? And I was, because he thought that I was someone who always want to automate stuff. I was actually, I really like to playing around with flow back then and to make things to do the work by themselves. But actually I was just being a little bit lazy, to be honest, because I didn't want to do the repetitive work. I want to do the fun work. Anyways, I did some thinking, and then I came up with the idea, instead of writing the data in those PowerPoint slides, we already have SharePoint on our company, because not only SharePoint and much more, because we had all E5 licenses, so Microsoft 365 E5, which included not only SharePoint, of course, but also Power Apps, Power Automate, and also Power BI Pro. So what the idea was is to have one SharePoint list to save all the project information, like general project information. And then I create another list with the milestones, for example. I don't remember exactly 100%, but this is like an example of how I built it. So I imitated like a cheap relational database where you have one project having many milestones, like it was like a one-to-many relationship between those two. And then there came also a couple of more SharePoint lists where we were entering this data. So now we moved from each one of the project managers having like a separate slide and data saved somewhere by them locally to a central source of truth, because everyone was editing these SharePoint lists, and then there were no copies lying around somewhere. So the PMO manager and everyone who had access was always up to date with the latest data. And then what the actual challenge was, or not the challenge, but the actual task was, is to not only replace the entering of the data, because this was time saving for the project managers, but to replace the showing the data, because that was the time consuming part of the PMO manager. So he had to get this data from the project manager. So until now, he did not invest time, but after he got the data, he had to put that PowerPoint presentation together, and that was time consuming for him. So the idea was then to grab this data and to visualize automatically. And as I mentioned, we had E5 licenses, and the best tool to use for this case was Microsoft Power BI. So ignore the screenshots here. These are random screenshots. It's just for you to visualize it, how it worked. And yeah, so what I did is I started connecting those SharePoint lists to Power BI. And I created then, or I already replaced that process of work that they used to have. The data was entered in a SharePoint list or many SharePoint lists, and the data was visualized in Microsoft Power BI. So that task was done. But then after they saw the potential for this tool and how much you can do with it and the further process that we can enhance, they asked me if we can, for example, the data that was entered in the SharePoint list, sometimes it needed to be duplicated because the information for the project were sometimes duplicated for each milestone, like project name or some project manager, for example, and other information. And to avoid that, the people had to duplicate data by themselves because you know how it is when you duplicate data, you might run into problems, not problems, but might make mistakes, no? If you don't copy something correctly. So what I did is I started implementing Microsoft Power Automate. I think it was already renamed then, but anyways, Power Automate Flow, and to automate this transformation, this transfer, not transformation, transfer from data from place A to place B. So the employees and the project managers did not have to enter duplicate data and run into errors and so on. So that was also taken care by Power Automate. And then also some notifications that I implemented because data needed to be kept up to date. And that was also something that before this, the PMO manager had always had to look if everything is up to date and then notify the project managers via email or via text. And that was not necessary anymore because Power Automate was taking care of all that notification part and reminder part, which was very helpful, it was already saving a lot of time. And because I wanted to experiment with the rest of the Power Platform, I was already like diving deeper into this technology, and I was loving it. So I was not doing anything project manager or project coordinator anymore. I was always only working on these tools. I started playing around with Microsoft Power Apps, and then I discovered that you can build like a small app to make the data entry for the project managers even easier than it is on SharePoint, because some of the views were a bit too much for some of them, and then you could create like a personalized view on Power Apps for each user. That was the case, and I started building that as well, which was almost as big as the rest of the part of the work. And yeah, so that was the solution actually. And what I discovered is, of course, many challenges. So as I was doing this work, I did not like start from scratch, like learning everything and so on and so forth. So I was, especially on the Power Apps part, it was like terrible performance. And also the Power BI was not that great because I had been working a little bit with that, but not that advanced. And I had like a performance issues, like the model was too slow in Power BI. The data loading in the app was also too slow. I wasn't very familiar with like filtering data and getting all the data that I need and so on and so forth. So I just like bring everything in and then do the filtering in the app, which is the wrong way. Similar also in Power BI. And then maintenance was a lot of work to do these little challenges. And then they're all part of governance and security. That was almost non-existent because it is difficult to set up and maintain in SharePoint online. So that was a big problem as well. So what I had, so if I would visualize the Power Platform learning curve, would be something like this. So at the beginning, so let me grab my laser pointer. There it is. So at the beginning, I was assigned with that task, so that I was asked to start building something. And yeah, of course, at the beginning, I was a little bit stuck because I wasn't sure if we should go or if I should build that with the Power Platform tools, because I was not that experienced, and I thought, okay, maybe is it the right tool? It's not the right tool. Anyways, after that part, when I decided, okay, let's go that way, I was really excited because I was enjoying that work. I was more ready to work with the Power Platform tools and make that work than go with another tool, which it will be even not better, but maybe sure that it will work. but I had to learn it from scratch again. So I wasn't that familiar with those tools, so I started, okay, let's do it with the Power Platform. So I was very excited. And then when I started figuring out that it was difficult and also some problems that I had, keep in mind I was not very experienced back then. It was a scared part, when it got like went down. And then after it was working, for me, it was a failed task. So it was working, as I said, the SharePoints were there, the automation was there, the app, the BI, everything was working. But for me, it was failed because it was less work for the project managers and so on, but it was not like performant. It was like slow, sometimes even sluggish. Back in the day, SharePoint Online was also slower. So the difference back then to now, it's tremendous. I mean, if you work now with a lot of data in SharePoint lists, it's much, much faster. Yeah, and all this experience, I categorized this project as failed. So what I did is I said, okay, I want to retry this, but I want to retry it the right way. And what I did is I went and started learning everything properly. So I did some certifications. As you can see here, I started watching every video of the community people that were even longer on this business than I am, and like Shane Young and Reza Dorani and so on, so the famous ones. And yeah, so I started learning everything properly. And then when I was viewing all these people doing this great job on YouTube and parallel to building or to making the solution even better, I said, okay, I also want to share everything that I learned because um, I'm not as good as the people who are doing this until now, like Shane Young and Razran, of course. But what I noticed is that if I find like a solution or yeah, if I find a solution for a problem that it's not that easy to find on the web, on the internet, or in YouTube, I could create some videos to showcase this use case, like from A to Z, no? So from big scratch, from start to begin to the end. And that's why I started creating my YouTube channel as well and started sharing my knowledge. But that I will elaborate on that on a later slide. Anyways, on this period, I also rebuilt the application and I moved all away from SharePoint to Dataverse, and that was a very high performance bump. And yeah, I did some optimization also on the Power BI report. And for me, that was then a success because I was very familiar then with the tools. I knew what I was doing. And that's the part where the tool became a success. Also for my PMO manager, it was already here a success because he had to do a lot less work. But for me as a developer, it was here because now it was done the proper way. And then after doing that, I also got some recognition, and that was like the learning curve. And if I will say the impact that when I started my YouTube channel here, it has had a lot of impact on me on an individual level and also on a career level. So on an individual level, I started having a deeper understanding for what I was talking about, because when you start recording a video and you want to talk about a topic, you need to understand it, of course. Now you need to know everything about it so that you can teach people about it. No? Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. And what I was then doing, it was a lot more of research. Instead of just talking about something that I just saw, I was finding something interesting or solving something, doing some research, and then creating a video about it. And it also helped me to get better communication skills. So speak and explain better in English. I got a confidence boost. So that was a huge impact because speaking in front of a camera is not that easy, and that will help you gain like all these communication skills, of course. But the knowledge sharing has also had a huge impact on my career level. So if you start creating like videos, it doesn't have to be videos. It can be like a blog post or content creation in general. It gets you noticed, which means that you create like a personal brand. And if you have a good personal brand, it means that you have a higher market value. And that means that you are getting noticed from other companies and from other people, maybe other clients if you are doing this on a freelance as well. And also your network is growing, which means then even more you're getting noticed. And also what it does is it brings, of course, as I said, new and better opportunities, clients or new employees, which will offer you better jobs, better positions, and even better salary. Not because you are, only because you are sharing your knowledge, it doesn't mean that you are better than other people who are not sharing their knowledge. That's not what I mean. What I mean is that it gets you noticed, and people who are getting noticed are, yeah, I don't know. It's better for your opportunities. That's what I have noticed in my career during this sharing of knowledge period. So if I would show the impact of sharing knowledge in a graph, like it's very similar to the one that I just showed you with the journey to the Power Platform. Also, the journey to MVP award is similar. Because when I started sharing my knowledge on YouTube, it was back in 2021, and I was similarly, I won't say scared, but it was like, is it worth it? Or I don't know, there are other people out there who do it as well, and maybe they're better than myself, so why do it, and so on. So that was like a period where I was not sure, but I said, okay, let's give it a try. I don't have to lose anything. So when I started, it was very exciting, and I was recording many videos, and I was even recording videos each video I was recording in both languages. I was doing it in English and in German, which was a lot of work. And then sometime after that, I started only doing in English because it was a lot of time consumed. And also the German ones were not that viewed, so I had more audience in English. Anyways, I was very excited. I was doing my best, and I was even asked to be nominated for the MVP award. And yeah, so after a while, I was declined. So after I filled out the application, and I was declined the MVP award, which has happened to a lot of people, and it's nothing bad. But for me, it was like in the moment, okay, you are not good enough. No, that's what I understood. You're not good enough. Yeah, you was cancelled. Your MVP award was declined, and you're not doing a great job. But at this point here is where I was thinking, I was thinking about, why am I doing this at all? Am I doing it for the MVP award? Actually, no. When I started doing this, I wasn't even sure. I think I didn't even know what an MVP award was. So the actual goal was to share my knowledge. I just liked, as I mentioned at the beginning, when I was doing a lot of user adoption work with customers, I just liked explaining stuff. I just liked showing people how stuff work. And that's what I wanted to do on my YouTube channel as well. So the MVP award was like something, okay, it's nice to have, if it comes, but it's not the main goal. And that's what I emphasized at this point in time. And then I said, okay, I don't need an MVP award. I will just keep doing my part, and I will doing my work. And then that's where it's like hockey stick. No? It went like higher and higher, because the reward part, because I was reaching even more people, and I was getting a lot of awesome feedback and comments from the viewers on my channel. And then I started being, because I had more audience and more reach and more network, I started being invited to speak to to events like this one today. I was on also on other events in person. And then sometime last year, March 24, I received the Microsoft MVP award for business applications. And that was like, if you remember the graph before, let me see here, that was the recognition part. Here was the recognition part from my manager and from my coworkers. And here was the recognition part, one more, from the community and from Microsoft. So that was very similar. And yeah, so as you can see, this was the journey for the sharing the knowledge. No, that was the journey to Power Platform. This was the journey to sharing my knowledge. And yeah, so some closing words moving forward. that I want to share is don't be afraid to try something new, because failing is better than not trying. If you fail, you know then what to do better the next time. But if you don't try, you are at the same state of knowledge as before, because you haven't tried the new thing. So you don't know what you can do better. And if you fail, don't be afraid to start over, because everyone has failed once at least in their time in their life, and starting over is what makes you even stronger, no? Because that's what matters, to be able to start over and to stand up again and to try again. That's the best part of it. And I will always suggest everyone to start building their personal brand. As I mentioned before, it has a lot of positive impacts on your personal career, and also on your personal level, because then it will make you more successful. Uh, that's my experience. And if I could emphasize this more, I will do, but I cannot. So build your soft skills first. That's my take from the last almost 10 years that I'm in this business. Um, because you can always learn about new technologies. You can always learn about new tools that Microsoft or whoever is going to bring out. There will always be like something new tool, but building your soft skills first, like communication skills, problem solving skills, conflict solving, emotional intelligence, and all this stuff that that makes you human, is more important, because then you can always interact with people, you can always solve problems, and then you can always learn those tools, no? But your soft skills are, in my opinion, even more important for that. And last but not least, enjoy what you do. Don't do stuff that you don't enjoy. If you want to work with a Power Platform, do it because you love it and you like working with these tools, and not because there is an audience out there that can view your blog post or your YouTube channel and so on. Do it because you like the tools in the first place, and then think about sharing your knowledge and building your brand. Okay, I think that's it from my side. Thank you very much for joining today. If you want to follow me on LinkedIn, I think we are missing like 2 or 3 followers to reach the 5,000 followers on LinkedIn. So feel free to follow me there, please. Maybe we can reach that today. And if you want to follow my channel and to subscribe to my channel, you can check out the second QR code, and then you will land to my YouTube channel, and then you can subscribe if you like. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Enea, for the wonderful session, wonderful presentation, and your journey is definitely inspiring. And I loved the Power Platform learning curve which you showed.
Thank
I
you.
think we can definitely relate as Power Platform enthusiasts, like the same,
Yeah.
almost the same journey. Okay, so Sarat and Ahmed, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask it. Inya, you can put it on chat or unmute yourself, and then you can ask.
Sure, Ahmad. Thank you for the session, and it was quite insightful. Okay, so being in this Power Platform journey almost 7 years, I would say, like this is what the initial stage, right? Because whatever mentioned in this call, right, that is what we have gone through. Okay,
Yeah.
and one thing which I want to highlight here, right, whatever demo today, I think the project management feature, I think there is something called as project for the web, which has got similar. It's a similar product from Microsoft, and which is very less used, I would say. But
Yeah.
that product has got all the features whatever Licaj mentioned, right? I think I'm pronouncing the right way, but yeah. So that product has got all the features, right? So I think in the most of the time, what happens, right? People go with the custom development. No? Instead of that, I think if we leverage this Microsoft products, right, it would be much easier because Power BI, because even Microsoft has provided a template called as Power project for the web accelerator, if I'm correct, which has got all the features what Erika has mentioned. I think, yeah, just to give my thoughts on this, right? Yeah, and
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you for the session. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. But back in the day when I was doing that, I wasn't very familiar with everything
Sure,
else.
sure. Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
um, yeah,
Yeah, even I came to know it's only like last month when this came like into my site. Why? Because we were doing some similar activity and we found
okay.
that I think like it is a wonderful solution. We call it as it's a managed solution from Microsoft, but
Mm.
it gave almost all the features. Okay, so
Yeah,
we need not, because even the schema that like everything is like pre-built, right? A solution which very less used. I didn't see any kind of usage from the GitHub, right? Because
mm.
once I started using it, I think that okay, this is a wonderful tool, but I think it has to be getting to like, because even if you raise a request to Microsoft, then there is no team available to even resolve the problems. That is the situation. But I'm saying that there are a lot of hidden solutions available from Microsoft now, which we can leverage. No? That's the thing which I
Yeah,
feel. Yeah.
Definitely, sir. Thank you for pointing that out.
yeah.
Um,
Thank you.
even like, but I think India, when you were working on it, it was
Yes.
not
Yes.
available. I think probably the desktop version was available for Microsoft Project, which
Yeah.
has like additional licensing costs and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And
think
and that
now,
and
yeah.
that was also part of the what I meant. No? There
Yeah.
might have been other better tools out there to
Mm.
do them, but I had to go and learn that from the beginning. And
Yeah.
that
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I said to my manager, okay, I know these tools, I can do something with this. Either I
Mm.
do it or someone else needs to do it with other stuff. So that's why we
Mm.
went that way. And I'm thankful that he said, yeah, you do it, and because otherwise I don't know if I would have gone into this path to the Power Platform like I did. No? So I was very thankful for that task that I received.
No,
Sure.
definitely. I think the what you just demonstrated today, like I think a lot of companies are actually working that way, like, having 10 projects and then
Yeah,
long calls for project updates and stuff. So
yeah,
definitely there's a gap where Power Platform can come into play for
definitely.
our clients, for ourselves, and more.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, perfect. Any other questions, Sarat, Ahmed?
Yeah, I just want to know one thing, Ahmed, right? Because I'm really interested to know that MVP journey of Lizen, right? So, if you can share some thoughts, right? Like, yes, like because I'm in this journey for almost, I would say, 18 years. Okay, but never that I didn't. No, it's not the problem with me, anyone, but the problem is that I'm not getting into the sharing mode. I normally do sessions internal to organizations, not from a public community kind of thing, right? But yeah, what suggestion you can provide now, because you both are MVP? So what you can provide to a person who wants to aspire to an MVP journey, right? So how can you like support, or can we see some suggestions on this for a person who is
Oh,
looking into MVP journey? Yeah.
I'm not sure if I understood the question correctly. So you are sharing your knowledge, but not in
And no,
external, or
not external, basically. Like internal, we do a lot of sessions and all, but like from an
mm,
MVP journey to get noticed, I think, as you said, it should
yeah,
be in
yeah,
public, right? Yeah, that is what
of
I came
course,
to.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You
Okay.
need
Got
to
it.
be in public sector to share knowledge with the world outside, because everything you do inside your company, it's not counted as an MVP
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, work. Now you need to go to create a blog post or maybe a YouTube channel, or start talking into sessions like this one. That's what gets you noticed, because Microsoft wants you to share your knowledge and your vision about the Power Platform, and to make it even more famous and help people out there. And that's what gives you that award. I have been doing, as I said, all that user adoption section was also on, not on Power Platform, was on Teams and so on. But if that would have counted, because I've done it for many years, I would have already been probably, I don't know what that is, Microsoft Teams MVP. No, but that does not count, no, unfortunately,
I
because you
see.
are doing
Thank you.
it
Thank you.
paid. No, you are getting paid to do that, so that's not count.
Yeah. Just continuing on the point which Inya made. So, that's the base criteria, that your contribution should be public and free for the community to utilize. If
Yeah,
there's something paid, even if it's a paid course, that doesn't count, because you're getting, it's not for the community, right? So that's the main thing. So again, if you want to start on that journey, there are multiple ways to contribute. First is, of course, you do events, you as a speaker or as an organizer as well, or if you can organize webinars or in-person events, so that counts. And of course, there one big thing is it has to be focused on one area. If you're doing contribution, it has to be focused on one area. Let's say if you're doing Power Platform, then you should focus on Power Platform throughout. It's if you do one session on Power Platform, one on Azure, one on something else, AI, then you won't get any of them, right?
Yeah, because
So
you are too general, no?
exactly. So you have to contribute a certain amount of activities, at least 20 activities in a year, to get to be eligible, I would say at this point,
Yeah.
to be eligible for the contribution. And then plus the reach matters. So whatever contribution you're making, the reach matters. How many people attended, how many people found it useful, then the different kind of more contributions will be blog posts, content creation, like India has a YouTube channel where he creates videos. So those can be the contributions. Then there's community support, where you are answering questions on Stack Overflow, on Power Platform, user groups and community. So those are the kind of contributions that we are looking at. And then the open source project contributions are also counted. I hope that helps, Sarth.
Yeah, that thanks for the information. It was quite helpful. Anyways, yeah, let me think on that. Yeah, thank you.
And no, definitely, I think we had yesterday we had a gathering in
Yes,
Dubai.
yes. Yeah,
But we are actually planning to do some things in Abu Dhabi as well. I will definitely involve you in those.
sure. Thank you so much, Ahmad. Thank you, Thank you.
All right.
Welcome.
Any more questions, anyone? All right. Anything on the chat? Just have a look. Nope.
I just placed there my links on the chat so that you can have them.
That's perfect.
And yeah, so also from my side, thank you for having me. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Enea. That was a wonderful session. And we will be publishing this for anyone who were not able to join. They can have a look at it as well, and they can connect with you.
Awesome, thank you. If you have any questions or so on, reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I can help.
Definitely.
And have a nice day. Thanks for having.
All right. Thank you so
Bye.
much. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Okay. Bye bye.